For decades, majority of smallholder farmers in developing countries, mainly sub-Saharan Africa, heavily relied on traditional and farmer-saved seed varieties, which accounted for about 80% of their material used for planting. This is because smallholder farmers had limited access to improved seed varieties. Through the Tropical Legumes project, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, research institutions, namely ICRISAT, IITA, and the Alliance of Biodiversity and CIAT partnered with National Agriculture Research System in 7 African countries and 1 Indian state to respond to this need by developing improved cultivars of the common bean, cowpea, groundnut, soybean, chickpea, and delivering the seed to millions of smallholder farmers. Since the beginning of the Tropical Legumes 2 Phase 1 project in 2007 and the subsequent Tropical Legumes 2 Phase 2 and Tropical Legumes 3 projects, a lot has been achieved at different levels of the commodity value chain of each focus crop. The impact can be felt from farmers in remote communities who now have better living standards such as food and nutrition security, in addition to income from sales of surplus from the high-yielding, stress-tolerant varieties. A decade ago, groundnut was considered an orphan crop in Uganda as it did not attract the funding like other cereals and legume crops. This has however changed. The groundnut is now the most important legume after the bean in Uganda. The cultivated area of the legume is estimated at nearly 413,000 hectares, representing 4.6% of the total arable land in Uganda. Since the Tropical Legumes began in Uganda in 2011, the groundnut breeding program has advanced according to Dr. David Okello, a groundnut breeder at NASARRI in Makerere.
We had a problem of storage. I remember under TL2, we made a drying floor there which can dry about 5 tons of groundnuts, and then we also rehabilitated our storage. And then with the help of TL3 and USAID, we were able to have irrigation infrastructure. So nowadays we can have a 3 cropping cycle in a year. And for early generation, we can have 4 in a year. That makes our program even faster. So some of the materials, actually, I do the crosses here because I have hotspot for the leaf spot disease, have the hottest spot for rosette virus for the entire sub-Saharan Africa. Some of the CG's material, when they want to check if they have the resistance in them, they bring it here. So, what started as, a small collaboration has turned into an international setting. And Uganda, ever since that time, has become one of the regional nurseries for ICRISAT.
When you are dealing with the old variety, that is the local seed or of the same seed, you plant in the same size of an acre, you get 5 bulbs maximum. So when you plant a group seed of the same size of the plantation, you get 25 and above.
Dr. Paul Anguria, an agronomist at NASARRI, notes that initially farmers were missing out on new varieties and technologies, but since they got acquainted with them, production has gone up.
The production levels were low because the seed use was of inferior quality. But when these projects came in, because of these other new varieties, improved varieties that were promoted, the production levels actually went up, increased, almost 2.5-fold.
From the funds received in the 5 years of working with the Tropical Legumes project, a couple of things stand out for the breeding program. For starters, there has been an increase in production of breeder seed, which in turn has increased the amount of foundation seeds. Dr. David Okello and his team at NASARRI have been able to build a regional connection with different research institutions across and beyond Africa. Before the project, the institution could handle 120 lines and approximately 40 crosses in a year. With funding and support from partners, especially Tropical Legumes project, the team can comfortably handle 600 lines and more than 60 crosses in a year. Data collection and authenticity is no longer a challenge as the researchers have shifted to digital form of data collection and using BMS as preferred data curation and repository.
With these machines, we are able to increase the speed of phenotyping. We are able to get more accurate data, and the repeatability of the data is more consistent.
Tropical Legumes has contributed to the research work on groundnut at Makerere. Since the project's inception, the institution with funding through the project has been able to release 12 new groundnut varieties that are early maturing and more resilient to local diseases and drought, namely Serenut 5R and 6T released in 2010 and Serenut 7T, 8R, 9T, 10R, 11T, 12R, 13T and 14R released in 2011, as well as a Narrownet 1R and 2T released in 2019.
So those varieties have actually been released to target a number of some good attributes that are being liked by the groundnut stakeholders. For example, like farmers would want varieties that are drought resistant, the ones that are high yielding. The processors actually want varieties that have got high oil content. Then for the consumers, usually you find that they would want varieties that have good taste, the ones with a very good confectional attributes. So those are some of the varieties we have in here.
Initially, we made our choice with Serenut 5 and 6. So when we planted that, we were also trying to assess what is the outcome. Does it have a high yield or compared? But it was better compared to the local one. Again, later on, we realized that Serenut 8, Serenut 11, Serenut 14 was doing the best because it has big seeded. Seeds are bigger, and also it is nice, it is sweet, and the yield is excellent. So variety we are planting has got a high oil content, and the taste is very nice.
This particular variety is going to replace one of the kingship variety called Red Beauty, which was released in 1966. But because there was no any other better alternative for all those years, we had never been able to replace it. So we started this work during the Tropical Legume 2, and then we kept on advancing them. We had about 3 sets of them, but this is the one which has now stood the test of time. It matures also in 85 days. It has attractive red color, and as you can see, the yield is so good. And instead of it only escaping and avoiding the drought, it can also withstand. You can see some greenness in the background. Already selected farmers are hosting this trial, which shall continue for the next 2 seasons, and we know it is going to be the variety which will replace the Red Beauty.
During the time we started planting this, what has really made us to change is that when you visit every member's home, there is a fundamental change. Most of them had put new structures, houses. They used to be in the grass thatch houses. There is already improvement in every household, and they are healthy, they are able to take care of their life.
Ameanda tia kopi. Allah me eno keli kamkuana. Shawani. Anatia gera watatek. Ni bei pura maidoni. Atia chwalo teni school up there.
When I'm just starting to grow those varieties, they're helping me a lot to build those houses, those ones, the permanent ones. Even they just helping me to buy the plots in the center here. As we talk now, I have 3 commercial houses in the centers here. Even last year, when I'm selling the groundnut, I've been buy the plot there in the district. A lot of money, about 16 million plus. Those activities, all those achievements I got through the groundnuts.
In addition to this varietal development, the project also developed production, harvesting, drying, and packaging mechanisms that will maintain the full potential of the inherent characteristic breed into the new varieties.
We want to thank so much. We should not forget to thank Dr. Kalule. He could also look for us the market, he keep on communicating to us. How far have you gone with harvest and the rest of it? He can also link us. So he made us who we are at this moment.
our sincere appreciations to ICRISAT that has continuously given us support and linked us to many other donors, because you see, one of the things that come along with the one partner, the outputs from this project funded by donor A becomes a stepping stone for another donor, because you don't have to, we have been able to attract other agencies to come and support us through the achievements of what we have gotten. We are looking forward for such more opportunities to come along, but otherwise, thank you very much.